against cavities.
Another great checkup. Yes! Later, dude.
Crest, the dentist choice, is the easy choice.
It's been fun.
This is TV8, KCCI TV, Des Moines.
Here's some of the stories you'll be seeing on the TV8 News Live at 6. Defense attorneys claim evidence was illegally seized from Terry Lass, who's accused of murdering her baby. Jeff Greenwood has details on that. Some parts of Iowa have had substantial rains, others very little. Steve Oswald will have a report. Now this.
Subway's new sliced roast chicken breast sandwich. A sandwich fit for a king, and it's fit for fit kings too.
The new sliced roast chicken breast sandwich from Subway.
A tornado watch is in effect for both eastern and western Iowa tonight. Our forecast, as we look at live radar and see nothing, thunderstorms likely later tonight. Some may be severe with strong winds, heavy rain, and large hail. The rain chances are 60%. Thunderstorms should end tomorrow morning, clearing later in the day. Now to CBS.
The United States and Russia agree to scrap the world's most dangerous nuclear weapons.
I'm deeply troubled and very angry at this unfair and unjust indictment.
Former Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger indicted. Criminal charges in the Missiles for Iran cover-up case. And Eye on America. Cops on the beat and alleged drug dealers when they're one and the same. This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening, Dan Rather reporting. The Bush-Yeltsin White House meeting produced results today. Shortly after the Russian leader arrived, he and President Bush announced agreement to cut each nation's long-range nuclear warheads by 2/3. Susan Spencer is at the White House.
The first ever U.S.-Russian summit found the one-time enemies agreeing to slash their most lethal weapons to levels unthinkable even a few months ago. And Mr. Bush gave Boris Yeltsin most of the credit.
The Cold War days are over, and he came here in a spirit of forward movement on these arms control agreements, and that speaks for itself.
Under the agreement, the total number of U.S. and Russian warheads will plummet from about 23,000 to no more than 3,500 each.
What we have achieved is an unparalleled and probably an unexpected thing for you and for the whole world.
But at least as unexpected, Yeltsin's shocking new suggestions that American POWs from the Vietnam War may have been taken to the then Soviet Union and might still be alive.
Many things have been revealed after the examination of the archives of the KGB, and all the information will be, of course, handed over.
Concerned that the explosive POW question would overshadow the entire summit, the White House announced that a U.S.-Russian commission will begin immediate investigations.
We have no evidence of anyone being alive, but I would simply say again that this is the best way to get to the bottom of it.
White House officials are puzzled why Yeltsin brought up the POW issue now, unless he's trying to win favor with Congress before it votes on aid to Russia. If so, that may backfire.
There should be no action on any aid package to Russia until those men are brought home or this issue is resolved.
But the wife of Sergeant Melvin Holland, missing in Laos since 1968, welcomed the news.
For Yeltsin to have the courage to come forward and say that, yes, these things did happen, he's supporting the families. He's giving us heart. He's giving us hope.
But giving hope and raising false hopes are two different things. And privately, there is concern here that Yeltsin's revelations may fuel a new political debate over whether the Bush administration has really done enough to try to find the MIAs. Dan?
Thanks, Susan. About the new arms cuts, Defense Department correspondent David Martin looks at who agreed to what and what it all may mean.
We have agreed to eliminate the world's most dangerous weapons, heavy ICBMs, and all other multiple warhead ICBMs, and dramatically reduce our total strategic nuclear weapons.
Intercontinental ballistic missiles armed with multiple warheads are the most powerful, most accurate, and fastest to reach their target. For the U.S., eliminating them means all 550 of its remaining land-based missiles, some of which now carry as many as 10 warheads, will have to be converted to carry only one warhead. Russia would have to eliminate entirely its most powerful ICBM, the SS-18, and convert the rest of its multiple warhead land-based missiles to carry only one warhead. For Russia, it means giving up the heart of its nuclear forces.
So it is a real signal both to the internal military establishment of a new era and a new theory of national defense, and it's also a sign of major political accommodation with the United States.
The START treaty signed by Presidents Bush and Gorbachev committed both sides to bringing their nuclear arsenals down to about 8,500 warheads each by the year 2000. Today's agreement would bring both sides down to a maximum of 3,500 each. The majority of the remaining warheads would be aboard submarines and bombers, the American strong suit.
The numbers are complex, but the fact is this could be the single biggest breakthrough in the history of arms control. Dan?
Thanks, David. A former top U.S. government official was criminally charged today in the Missiles for Iran case. Caspar Weinberger, defense secretary in the Reagan-Bush administration, was indicted on felony charges, including lying as part of a cover-up. More about this turn of events from Bob Schieffer.
In a dramatic announcement on the courthouse steps, prosecutors said Weinberger had lied to Congress and misled the grand jury investigating the secret arms deal to Iran.
This case has to do, as this indictment alleges, with a senior government official, the former Secretary of Defense, withholding relevant, important information as it related to the Iran-Contra investigation.
Ironically, it was Weinberger, according to congressional investigators, who had tried to talk President Reagan out of trading arms for hostages, calling it crazy, an idea that wouldn't work.
It's clear that Weinberger was one of the people who really wore a white hat in this matter.
But today, prosecutors said personal papers Weinberger donated to the Library of Congress suggest he intended to corruptly influence, obstruct, and impede the investigation of the secret arms deal and illegal aid to the Contras. An angry Weinberger denied the charges and said prosecutors had tried to get him to falsely implicate others.
I would not give false testimony, nor would I enter a false plea. Because of this refusal, which to me is a simple matter of conscience, I've now been charged with multiple felonies.
Weinberger wouldn't give any more detail, but sources told us he believed that prosecutors were simply trying to make one last attempt to show that former President Reagan had knowingly misled Congress and the public about the illegal deal. Bob Schieffer, CBS News, Washington.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, if the economy is recovering, why haven't you felt it yet? And why many doctors are no help to women who've been abused.
I've had 3 fractures in the back of my head. The side of my face has been fractured up. I done had my hands broke.
What does this woman know about dieting that maybe you don't? That you don't have to drink your breakfast, because a serving of Kellogg's Special K actually has fewer calories than a glass of the leading diet shake. In fact, the entire Special K breakfast, including fruit, skim milk, and coffee, has fewer calories than the diet shake. So, if you're going to have something special when you're trying to lose weight, shouldn't it be something special with fewer calories? Kellogg's Special K. Lose the fat.
An authentic deli-style sandwich.
Hey, you want the Sal's Deli?
No. Used to come from a deli.
Sal sure knows how to make a sandwich.
Well, now they come from Oscar Mayer.
Didn't come from Sal's.
Oscar Mayer Deli Thin Brand Slices. Slow-cooked ham and oven-roasted turkey breast.
Ah, Morton's.
Sliced razor thin. For a taste...
Dad, it's Oscar Mayer.
It's unmistakably Oscar Mayer.
They opened a deli?
Oscar Mayer Deli Thin. Nothing but the best.
The government says 2 key sectors of the economy improved in the month of May. Industrial production rose 0.6%. That's the biggest increase in nearly a year. Housing starts were up 11%, best showing in more than a year. Still, as Wyatt Andrews reports, a lot of Americans have yet to see or feel much improvement close to home.
For New York home builder Eli Reese, it's as if the economy has a split personality. The statistics say a recovery is underway, but he's asking, where are the buyers?
About a month or 2 ago, there was some traffic. The last 3 or 4 weeks, there hasn't been anything. I can't say there's been a trend towards improving lately.
It's the same story for furniture retailer Neil Glickfield. If this is a recovery, he says, it sure is slow reaching here.
Traffic's probably down 20%. If we used to get 1,000 customers a day, maybe we'll get 800. And you have to offer much better value to the consumer, too.
Experts are calling this the strangest economic recovery ever because this one is happening without much consumer spending. The American consumer is watching this recovery from home.
Usually consumers come out of the blocks, spend aggressively to start any recovery. In this recovery, consumers are cautious, selective, and waiting for a bargain before they buy.
Much of this seesaw recovery is being blamed on buyers who alternate, buying goods one month, paying off debt the next. Underlying everything, it seems, is a lingering and deep fear of unemployment.
Today is very difficult for a lot of people who are out of work, for their family, friends that are out of work, to have confidence in investing in the future. They're very conservative.
Most experts believe the economy, while sputtering, is at least sputtering forward. But the slow improvement is one for the record books and has the economist asking, what if they gave a recovery and no one came? Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Washington.
The American Medical Association today urged the nation's doctors to be on the alert against an epidemic of domestic violence against women. Health correspondent Edie Magnus has our report.
Each year, it is estimated that 3 to 4 million women will be physically abused by their husbands, ex-husbands, or boyfriends.
Well, I've had 3 fractures in the back of my head. The side of my face has been fractured up. I done had my hands broke, my ribs damaged.
Domestic violence is now said to be the leading cause of injury for women between the ages of 15 and 44. 1/3 of female murder victims are killed by their intimate partners.
Was there ever anyone in an emergency room or in a doctor's office who you felt reached out to you and really tried to help?
No. It just seemed like I was just going in to get fixed up to be sent back.
There are chances for physicians to intervene before domestic violence reaches life-threatening levels. But a profession like ours has to overcome our denial and our apathy.
Today, the American Medical Association publicly urged doctors to be more aggressive on behalf of women who are in trouble, issuing new guidelines which recommend that doctors routinely screen all women for evidence of abuse.
When a woman comes to you with a pattern of injuries, particularly with a combination of all injuries, accompanied by vague complaints like aches and pains, you must be able to think of physical abuse.
The announcement coincides with a new study released today which finds most family doctors don't want to get involved in domestic violence. Among the reasons, fear of offending their patients by asking about abuse, not enough training in domestic violence, and not enough time.
It was clear that they felt like if they were to start asking questions about this, they were going to open up something that was going to be terribly hard to deal with.
A second study found 1 in 6 women at prenatal clinics say they are physically assaulted during pregnancy, a rate more than double previous estimates.
The AMA says simple, direct questions to pregnant women turned up the evidence of abuse. The organization is sending its new treatment guidelines to 15,000 physicians across the country. Dan?
Edie, what should family doctors do?
Well, according to the AMA today, 2 very simple things. First is to listen to their patients. And secondly, to tell women where to go for help. According to the Surgeon General, in 92% of cases of domestic abuse, doctors don't follow up or refer women to places that can help them.
Edie Magnus, thanks. Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, black South Africans step up the pressure for majority rule amid more bloodshed in Soweto.
It seemed like the rain would never stop. I mean, I could feel the dampness in my bones. For the first time since my doctor said I had a touch of arthritis.
He had some pain, so we called the doctor, and he recommended extra-strength Tylenol.
That's right.
With all the choices for your arthritis pain, well, I was surprised.
Well, the Tylenol worked. The pain cleared up.
A lot sooner than the weather.
Tylenol, arthritis pain relief from the name you trust.
When Batman's arch enemy, the Penguin, reserves a room at any choice hotel, like Quality, Comfort, Clarion and Sleep, or Econolodge, Roadway and Friendship, he doesn't get to stay free. But his kids do. Kids 18 and under stay free at any of the 7 brands in the Choice Hotels family. Call 1-800-4CHOICE today.
We built the Maytag refrigerator with shelves, bins,
and drawers that will adjust to meet your changing needs in years to come, and solid heavy-duty parts to last for years to come.
Yo, Mom!
We can only guess what the world will be like in years to come, but it's nice to know that whatever the future holds, your Maytag will too. Buy one now and get the best warranty in the business.
Here goes my future.
It began as a third-rate burglary. It led to the downfall of the president. We know all the players except one. Mike Wallace reveals Watergate, the secret story, tomorrow at 9.
Blacks in South Africa today began a 2-week pressure campaign to speed up the transition to majority rule. Opening day was a violent one, with 9 people shot to death following a rally in Soweto. Alan Pizzi is on the scene.
Troops and police moved into Soweto before dawn, even calling up reserve soldiers for possible duty. Soweto commuter trains ran empty, and the streets of Johannesburg were almost deserted as blacks heeded a call by the African National Congress to launch what it called a mass action campaign. It's the ANC's way of trying to force the government to give in on technicalities at the now stalled talks to grant blacks political power. The ANC called for the campaign to be peaceful, but the deadly sharp edge of violence mars all politics in this country, and this is politics in its most raw form. Leading a march through Soweto, Nelson Mandela said mass action and civil disobedience were legitimate weapons in a political struggle, and vowed that the campaign would go on until the government gives in. But the still white-run government says the key to political change lies in the black leaders ending township violence. More than 30 blacks have died in political violence in the last 24 hours. Mandela exhorted his followers not to take violence to the white areas as some radicals urge, but he warned the government not to expect blacks to sit back and wait for majority rule.
What has happened today is something very small in comparison to what we plan doing.
Those plans include civil disobedience, protests, more stayaways, and even marches into white areas, carrying on for months if necessary.
Mass action is a serious gamble for the ANC. If it fails to gain momentum, it could become a farce. Even worse, if they lose control, it will degenerate into violent chaos. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Soweto.
More than a month after a 7-way presidential election, a Philippine congressional committee today certified Fidel Ramos the winner. It said the former defense secretary, backed by President Aquino, has an unbeatable lead over Miriam Santiago. Aquino leaves office in 2 weeks. Coming up next, Governor Clinton on MTV, defending his rap against a rap singer.
The first time I switched pain relievers, it was from aspirin to Tylenol. Then recently, I switched again, from Tylenol acetaminophen to Advil. You see, I got these really pounding headaches, and I found Tylenol didn't always get rid of all the pain. So I tried Advil and found that for my really tough headaches, 2 Advil worked better than 2 extra-strength Tylenol tablets, better than extra-strength Tylenol caplets, better than Tylenol gel caps. For my tough headaches, Advil just works better. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I need a laxative that can work dependably.
Doxidan can.
But can it be gentle?
Doxidan can. Doxidan works dependably overnight with a special ingredient for gentle relief.
Dependable, yes. Gentle, yes.
Doxidan can.
Everybody needs some
$12 for every mile over the limit.
That's $300.
You can add fast, too. Next.
To send someone money fast, call 1-800-CALL-CASH or come to any Western Union location. Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
Count on Sears Brand Central for brand name values on electronics during the National Brand Electronics Sale. Get this 386SX Packard Bell 20 megahertz computer with 105 megabyte hard drive for just $21 a month. Or this 46-inch LXI projection TV with free surround sound speakers, just $36 a month. And through June 20th, there's no billing, payments, or finance charge until September when you use your Sears charge. Just ask for the delayed billing option, only at the store you trust.
How would you like to discover some little-known discounts on car insurance? You can't afford to miss it. Get the details tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula Zahn.
A political footnote, Vice President Quayle, visiting a school in Trenton, New Jersey yesterday, corrected a student incorrectly telling a schoolboy to spell the word potato with an E at the end. The 12-year-old schoolboy, William Figueroa, today said he knew Quayle was wrong, but, quote, he's the vice president. The sixth grader said Quayle's okay with him, but, quote, he needs to study. Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton kept up his new and tougher line in the presidential campaign today. Meanwhile, the rap singer Governor Clinton had criticized last weekend rapped back. Bill Plant reports.
Militant political rapper Sister Souljah lashed back at Bill Clinton as a politician without integrity and denied encouraging violence.
I do not advocate anybody killing anybody.
Clinton criticized Souljah for saying in the wake of the LA riots, if black people kill black people every day, why not have a week and kill white people? Souljah doesn't deny the quote, but says she was speaking in the voice of an alienated inner-city gang member.
If you would kill your own brother, or kill your grandmother, or kill a baby, well, certainly you would kill anybody. In the mindset of a gang member, why not kill white people?
And if my survival means your total destruction, then so be it.
Sister Souljah says her rap videos are so controversial they're banned from MTV. But that's where Bill Clinton was today, and the first question was about her.
We don't have much time to pull this country back together. And here's a rap singer with a lot of influence on young people. And what I said was, why don't we take a week and have nobody kill anybody?
Clinton's criticism in front of Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Coalition was intended to demonstrate that unlike past Democratic presidential candidates, he's not afraid to take on the special interest groups. But some blacks think there's much more to it than that.
I think the strategy is to appear before a group like the National Rainbow Coalition and to use that group really as a foil to try to reach out to the white middle class in the suburbs.
Bill Clinton, you cannot assume that black people will automatically vote for you. You should stop expecting a handout and work to earn your vote.
Clinton strategists counter that blacks have been voting for him and say they don't think Jesse Jackson can deliver the black vote anyway. The real danger, of course, is that if blacks believe that Clinton was using Sister Souljah to send a message to the white middle class, then blacks may not vote at all. Bill Plant, CBS News, New York.
How could this happen? They've taken the secret.
Europeans are upset. The Kellogg's Muesli cereal uses their secret recipe.
This we kept in the family.
After all, they've been guarding this delicious secret forever. Ah, but this luscious blend of sweet fruit, crunchy nuts, and crisp whole grains was destined to become Kellogg's Mueslix.
Angelina, you told?
It wasn't me. I swear.
Kellogg's Mueslix, the European secret for great taste.
For a few short weeks at Red Lobster.
Wait till they taste this.
We're putting together lobster, crab, and shrimp.
This is gonna be really special.
Ordering.
We're cooking to order sweet lobster, succulent shrimp, and Alaskan snow crab, and serving them all together. Don't miss our best combinations ever. They're just for a limited time. So hurry in tonight for lobster, crab, and shrimp.
Only at Red Lobster.
Can a razor cut your beard off below the skin without the blades even touching your face? It can if it's a Norelco. Norelco's patented lift and cut system lifts the hair, so when it's cut, it can actually drop below skin level without the blades even touching your face. Are you getting a shave this incredibly close and exceptionally comfortable? You are when you shave with Norelco. Norelco, we make close comfortable.
Sears is the place for great Father's Day gift ideas. Save now on this Craftsman half-horsepower garage door opener, only $139.99. And that includes 2 3-function transmitters. It's a great idea for Father's Day from Sears.
At the first tickly itch of athlete's foot, there's an X. Killing those grungy fungi before they get cracking and burning. Go get that can now, or else don't blame Desonex.
We Americans honor and respect police officers because they protect us and because they do hard, dangerous work. The overwhelming majority of police officers respect and honor their special places in our society, but a few don't. In tonight's Eye on America, Bob Fall reports an example from one city of a problem many communities may have.
How the money rolls in. Here, let me give you yours now.
I don't take money, that's the truth.
It's been nearly 20 years since Serpico, the true story about one honest cop's war against corruption in the New York City Police Department.
Donnelly, Paolucci, Sonata.
But what about today? Once again, the New York City Police Department has been rocked by scandal. It's the seamy story of cops brazenly involved with drugs. Of 6 police officers, 1 retired, charged with running a cocaine ring. Of allegedly buying drugs in Brooklyn where they worked and bringing them back to Suffolk County where they lived for sale and distribution.
They should go to jail for a long time. They should get what they give to other people.
Cops should be looked upon as, decent citizens, but sometimes, the law is in the hands of the lawless.
One of the troubling questions raised by this case is how could a police department's internal procedures designed to catch corrupt cops fail so badly? How, for example, could one of the arrested cops on a salary of about $40,000 a year afford to buy and live in a house like this without arousing suspicion? And how could that same cop remain on the force for 4 years despite repeated warnings from his fellow officers that he was corrupt? New York Police Commissioner Lee Brown.
He was investigated. He was under surveillance for a number of times. All going back into the 1980s mainly. We didn't get him as soon as we would like to have gotten him.
Commissioner, you didn't get him. Suffolk County got him.
Well, it doesn't make much difference who got him. He was gotten. That's the issue.
The truth of the matter is, any cop who uses shouldn't be under force to start with.
Gilbert Acevedo is himself an ex-cop booted off the New York City Police Department not only for using cocaine, but for stealing both drugs and money. Now a counselor working with drug addicts at Phoenix House, Acevedo says that cops using drugs is a dirty little secret.
I think that usage is a little bit more prevalent than one is led to believe.
Fact is, no one knows how extensive police corruption is. These New York City cops, for example, recently turned in over $400,000, which they found in a parked car.
Just do what you have to do. You have to bring it to the station house.
But with so much drug money around, law enforcement officials worry about cops on the take, about cops who might use this kind of opportunity not to bust drug dealers, but to gain their own crooked advantage.
They would take money all the time.
You're saying the cops stole the money?
Correct.
Los Angeles drug dealer Ricky Ross says he made millions selling cocaine. Now doing time in federal prison, Ross was often on the wrong end of many drug raids.
Like they would raid a house. Like, say, my girlfriend's house, when they raided her house, she probably would have $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 just laying around, for spending money. And they would just take it. I even know one incident where they told me they used my foreign tickets to go to the basketball game to see the Lakers play.
Not just your money, they took your Lakers tickets?
Yeah.
It's the nature of the beast with narcotic work that graft and corruption will come with it.
We spent some time with narcotics cops who work undercover. They have easy access to cash and to drugs worth big money. Are they tempted? Would they steal if they could get away with it?
They put $1 million in front of me, and somebody told me, you could take it, you're not going to get caught. I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it.
It's kind of like an honor to be a cop. You know what I mean? People look up to you. They trust that you're going to be the good guy, and not the bad guy.
So, 2 kinds of cops, the straight, the narrow, and those who are not. And the question which haunts is whether the first group is that much bigger than the second. This is Bob Faw in New York for Eye on America.
That's part of our world tonight. Tomorrow night on Eye on America, Watergate. Dan Rather, CBS News. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
CBS News.
Next on the TV8 News, live at 6, very heavy rains in parts of Iowa. Severe weather expected later tonight. Connie with the forecast coming up.
I'm Jeff Greenwood with new information in the Terry Last murder case. The details coming up.
Also tonight, a late plea to save WOI-TV for Iowa State University. Michelle Parker will have the update.
And Heidi with another win for the Cubs. TV8 News is next.
Holmes has them all right. Used car values like this 1985 Honda Accord DX. Low miles air conditioning, AM/FM cassette, priced at only $64.85. Or this 1988 Chevy Blazer with Tahoe package, air conditioning, power windows, yours for only $11,488.
Remember, if you don't like the deal we offer you, call me. We'll talk.
You can bet that home.
Give me 5. 5 new water beds from Big Sur's own factory. The new Contempo with floating bookshelves is just $169. The Cheyenne with bookcase headboard is $179. The White Crystal Daybed is $199. The Santa Fe with mirror is $179. Or the Charleston with mirror and turn post is $289. 5 new looks, factory direct savings. Big Sur Waterbeds, America's largest. 3715 Merle Hay Road at Douglas.
When you think about who'll you be driving around over the next few days, you want the experts who can fix your brakes today. Midas, because your brakes can't wait.
Thank you for watching KCCI, TV8 in Des Moines. And now from TV8, Iowa's news leader, Paul Rhodes, Kevin Koenig, Connie McBurney with weather, and Heidi Soliday Sports. This is TV8 News, live at 6.
It was a gully washer in parts of northern Iowa today. More heavy rains and severe weather could be on the way. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Much needed rain in parts of Iowa today.
Too much rain in some places, no rain at all in others. This evening, there's a good chance of severe weather coming up, and Connie McBurney has the latest watches. Connie?
Well, portions of northwestern Iowa did have some substantial rains last night and early this morning. While the rest of us were pretty disappointed here in the Des Moines area, we ended up with only 1/10 of an inch. And because we're still in a very warm, moist, unstable air mass, the potential for more thunderstorm development continues tonight. Now, there are tornado watches. It says severe storm. It is a tornado watch for extreme western Iowa. That's until 11 o'clock, and for the eastern third of the state until 10 o'clock. They've already had some severe weather over there. Earlier, a tornado was reported around Waterloo. There's no reports of any damage from that, and that weather has quieted down considerably. However, as the night continues, more thunderstorm development is expected, and thunderstorms here, even though central Iowa is not included in any of the watches, storms here could also be severe. That would include the possibility of some heavy rains, large hail, and even some damaging winds. So we'll keep you up to date on what happens as things develop tonight.
Thank you, Connie.
And while much of the state remains too dry, some farm fields, especially in north central Iowa, received almost too much rain last night. TV8's Steve Oswald now with the story of one farmer up in Pocahontas County.
Franklin Fisher harvested 5.5 inches of rain last night. It rained so much, the water was still flowing when he inspected his farm fields this afternoon.
Runs all day like this, it'll be a lot of water moving through there. Yesterday it was just bone dry, and today it was nothing but swamp. Quite a change from one day to the next.
Fisher farms 560 acres in Pocahontas County. 1/4 of this 80-acre field was in standing water following last night's nonstop rain. As nice as this rain is here in north central Iowa, other parts of the state remain dry. Fisher is wishing that he could share some of this 5.5 inches of precipitation with other farmer friends in the state.
We don't really need this amount of water at one time. We could have got by with half of the amount we had.
The rain was spotty. Just 10 miles away from here, farms got just 1/2 of what Fisher did. Still, the rain was badly needed.
Well, it was getting close to 3 weeks since the last time we had had any rain, and the moisture situation was getting fairly serious. The last 3 or 4 days we'd had some high winds with warm temperatures and was drying the topsoil out quite a bit.
While some of these beans in standing water could die soon if the water doesn't drain away, the majority of Fisher's crops have been spared by the rains here in north central Iowa, and he's hoping for continued good luck.
Well, I just hope we can get a few more rains in July to make the crops real well and a better price.
In Pocahontas County, Steve Oswald, TV8 News.
And severe weather has caused some damage to the west of Iowa. High winds and tornadoes damaged numerous homes and downed power lines in Saunders County, Nebraska. One woman said she watched her home being hit and then watched the twister skid down a country road, picking up debris. Also some storm damage last night in parts of Kansas. In Garland County, Nebraska, 3 mobile homes damaged by tornadoes, 3 people slightly injured. Parts of Nebraska also received some of that very heavy rain that's flooded small creeks.
In other news this Tuesday, an explosion leveled a truck stop in Osceola. Authorities say the blast hit Nelson's Corner truck stop about 4 o'clock this morning. The owner, Brian Nelson, was working in the maintenance area when the explosion occurred.
It was an out-of-control fire when we got the call. Our shop and everything was clear and golf by the time we got here. There was nothing all we could more or less do is try and keep it knocked down from spreading into the restaurant, other surrounding areas.
Brian Nelson suffered minor burns in the blast. The state fire marshal has not yet confirmed an exact cause of the explosion and fire.
TVA News has obtained new information tonight in a highly publicized murder case. Attorneys for Terry Lass say authorities took key statements and evidence from Lass illegally. TVA's Jeff Greenwood has been checking those allegations that were made in court documents filed in Warren County. Jeff?
Paul, defense attorneys claim in these court documents that authorities' actions in the Lass arrest were illegal. But the Warren County attorney is expected to fight that allegation. Defense attorney Alfredo Parrish says investigators charged Terry Lass in her infant son's death using illegally obtained evidence and statements.
Terry Lass's attorney alleges investigators didn't read her rights when they questioned her about her son Shane's death. Her attorney is trying to keep potentially incriminating statements she made out of court. Court documents allege that on February 20th and 25th of this year, defendant Terry Lass was compelled to provide inculpatory statements to law enforcement without being given Miranda warnings. Miranda warnings guarantee you certain rights, such as remaining silent and your right to an attorney. It's further alleged that also on the 25th, Lass was allowed to make other statements without an effective waiver of her Miranda rights. Hundreds of volunteers in February searched Warren County for Shane. A search team found his body in a box placed near a ditch. That same week, investigators took items from Terry Lass's car and home. They seized some clothes and a Scotch tape dispenser. They say they linked the clothes and tape they seized from Terry to where they found Shane's body. Parrish wants that potentially damaging evidence excluded from court. In court documents, he alleges the defendant's vehicle and residence were subjected to a warrantless search and seizure.
Now, Parrish is requesting a hearing, and Warren County Attorney Kevin Parker is expected to challenge the accusations. Parker says he can't comment, but says, quote, "It'll all come out at the time of the hearing." And Paul, that hearing has not yet been scheduled.
Thank you, Jeff.
An autopsy tonight confirms a Des Moines man died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in last night's standoff involving Des Moines police. Officers surrounding a home on South Union for several hours last night. This after a man inside allegedly had shot his sister and fired several other shots with a shotgun. After 4 hours, police lobbed tear gas into the house and stormed the residence. Inside, they found 47-year-old Anthony Cuevas dead. He had shot himself. The other victim in the shooting, Cuevas' sister, 63-year-old Anita Valdez, is in serious condition tonight. She was shot in the back. Police say Cuevas was despondent over the death of his mother.
And Connie McBurney is still coming up with the latest on those severe weather watches.
And next on the TVA News, supporters of WOI-TV keep the pressure on the Board of Regents. Michelle Parker will have the update.
Going down.
Yeah.
Going down?
Join the march to save WOI! Join the march!
Sizzling savings, hot deals at Charles Gabus Ford. We smoke the competition with deals like these.